All right. Welcome to the fourth and final review of the evening. Up this time is Scarlet, City of Devils, a demon punk hack and slash adventure game. Explore the city of Eloville. I think that's how that's pronounced. At your own discretion and take down the biggest thugs the game has to offer. Eloville is a city of devils. Demons across the city fractured into clans in the pursuit of their desires. The most notorious among them were the Knights of Virtue. The Knights of Virtue seized the famed fountain, that's a tongue twister, of Eloville, and built a fortress around it. Speaking words of virtue to the powerful essence, many clans now wage war against the knights, attempting to take the fountain's power for themselves and become the new masters of the city. Chaos reigns across Eloville. Ferality spreads throughout the realm. This is the story of one who would try to heal the broken heart of the city and how she was stopped. Right. So, putting the purple prose aside here, and also it's a hack and slash adventure game. Specifically, it's it's another indie Metroidvania title. I'm like, okay, there's no other way for me to say this, but a lot of the gameplay here is very much the trends in the indie scene. Seriously, I think we get this game like about once a week now. Because it's it plays very similarly to Twilight Monk, which I reviewed a few weeks back. I'm pretty sure it's gonna play a lot like Resetna, which Alex reviewed last week, literally. So the point is, this is a popular game type. So the question is it apart from others in its genre? Well, I think the most obvious answer here is tits. Because this game wants you to know that this game is filled with scantily clad demon women. It's the horniest game we've played in a while. I will note we haven't gotten anything from Manga Gamer in quite a while, actually.
Well, there also was that ungodly awful game.
Oh, true. Oh, yeah, Takeover.
Yes.
Fair enough. Like, okay.
I think you might all be on a list from that one.
Yeah, like... Okay. This one, presumably, not only is everyone of age, but...
Look, I can tell from looking at it that this one has gameplay, so it's better than my horny game.
Gameplay and at least like a modicum of respect.
Not just that, but I've been trying to figure out the visuals here because, okay, they're both. It's almost a contradiction because it's both high quality and shockingly amateurish.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, yeah, it animates well. It's got, it's got a high frame count, that kind of thing. But it's like the actual art looks very dodgy. Like, like we're looking at a fucking bootleg of some sort.
Part of this issue, like with the background, I don't know if you can see on stream, is this game does not like ultra wide, and I can't get it to go into windowed mode.
Right. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the actual art here. There's a certain scruffiness to it that we didn't see in like Twilight Monk. Like, But like I said, it's this weird contradiction that I've been trying to figure out, and I just can't. Like overall, like this, this cross section of polished and unpolished is just weird. But that aside, the other thing that this game does to set it apart is a quick pace, I think is the best way to put it. Like, this is the quickest one of these I've played in a good long while. Maybe ever. Like, this really embodies the Devil May Cry side of combat that these things like to go in. It's got some Souls-like influence, mostly in the potion system. It's got the typical, you get a bunch of potions. No, sorry. You get some potions to refill your health. You can buy more potions or find them, and you can charge them up. Not at a save point. You have to. But
Adam, you're dropping out. I lost
literally the word save point.
There.
Yeah, we just got the word save point and we got nothing.
Sorry, I had to cough there. Getting a bit phlegmy. Anyway, as I was saying, you have to fill up your bottle at an actual bottling station. I forget what they call it in game. But anyway, like, this combat's all dodge. Even the parries are dodging.
The Bayonetta style, if you parry at the right time, you get the time stop.
Yes. Like, so I quite like that. Because it meant I could just dodge like a maniac, and there was a good chance I was going to accidentally parry at the right time.
Oh yeah, no, that dodge window is probably one of the most forgiving dodge windows for the perfect parry I've ever seen.
Yes.
Not saying that's a bad thing, but like if you're looking for like a super hard as nails challenge,
yeah,
probably not going to find it here.
Well, and it's also, once again, this game is just all high octane kinetic action. We've covered some of these where it has a bit more of the Dark Souls combat in there, where it's more about the methodical pace and the blocking and the actual parrying.
And you can be deliberate with stuff while still requiring it to be pretty quick, but a lot of the time it gets flaily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely noticing, like, I don't need to worry about having a rhythm to my combat like I do have to in some of these.
Yeah, no, the combat is, for all of its high energy, very inelegant. But
it's
I'll be honest, I didn't
probably for someone who's it fits in a weird spot because, like, I don't want to say somebody newer to the genre because that would imply someone younger, and I don't think I'd want to give like my niece this.
Oh, no.
I would not be allowed around near the niece anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, like, you could play this game with timing and finesse, but you really don't have to. Yeah. There are rewards for that. Not just the parry system, but the stun system. You got two attacks. Once again, pretty typical stuff. Like, you got the swords, which is your fast attack, and for me, I had that junction to the X, and for the Y button, you use the axe. I'm not sure what button Petty has, but that's your heavy attack. The heavy attack, if you, I was never quite sure how to get the stun, but if you get the enemy stunned and you kill them there, you get an animation of I'm trying to remember the lady's name here. I guess Scarlet. Like, her name doesn't come up much in the game, surprisingly enough. But anyway, you get an animation of her coming down with like either the sword or the axe, and here's the key thing to why you would want to stun your enemies. It charges up your health, independent of the bottles. And it can also overcharge your health, which means, like, you know, if you kill a fairly tough enemy, you basically get like 150% health or something like that. And it'll do, well, what it does in like Doom or Quit, especially, you know, it'll count down from where your health is to, you know, normal health. And yes, there are health pickups you can find along the way, and, you know, power-ups. I think there might be some other weapons in the game, but I did not come across them in my play session. Now, the power-ups seem to be movement options that allow you to open up new spaces. I'm also... maybe not, like, I'm not sure please is the right answer. But you also get the double jump right out the gates. It is not one of the, you know, starting power-ups here. Oh, also, if you die, you get the typical lose half your coinage. And you have to... like I said, in all of its aspects. It's just, its execution is shockingly good. Like, I won't say, like, it's not as good as, say, Twilight Monk that I played a few weeks back, for example. But I'll be honest, when I first saw this, I thought I was going to be getting a fairly dodgy game. Because look at it.
I mean, it definitely has some of its indie jank, like, especially me playing this on an ultra-wide.
Right.
And it's not wanting to go into windowed mode. Like, there is an option for it, but it just isn't wanting to work.
Oh, right. The first power-up was is Fire Breath, which is actually... you know, you can use that for parrying, but much more useful as a door opening power.
As fire generally is, yes.
As you do in Metroidvanias.
Yes.
Or anything like that, where...
Yeah.
So this is basically like an action Metroidvania.
Yes, yes.
I know some people would consider that redundant, but, like, a lot of the, at least, like, Metroid side of the Metroidvania
they
is not as...
how action versus how exploration they are.
Yeah.
Definitely action here. Like, there's exploration, but it's very routine, and not in an
Hollow Knight has pretty significant mechanical combat stuff, but the moment-to-moment gameplay is very technical exploration, platforming stuff a lot of the time.
Yeah. It doesn't skimp on either side. I would definitely not get this for exploration. Get it for combat.
Right.
So, not quite sure how explicit this game gets. We did not get any adult-only warning from Steam on it. Like, you know, it got age-gated.
It looks like this would probably be, like, teenage level. Like, you could probably hand this off to an older teenager and be fine.
Yeah, but I did look it up on itch.io, and it got age gated there. Like, I'm like, but it's showing the same assets as what the Steam version showed. So I don't know if they censored it for Steam or not,
or if there's just like different like advisory stuff for.
Right. I'm just gonna put that out there. So, yeah, the game is very sexually suggestive at the very least, but like, I don't know if Scarlet here is going to go down on any of her lady friends here, but it doesn't seem that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is, that aside, this is PC only right now. Could come to consoles. I could see it maybe, like, if it's the level of horny we think it is. Like, anyway, in terms of pricing, the game clocks in at a very strange $12.99, $13.
That almost feels like that's either an Xbox from like a holdover from like 360 pricing, or that's a Euro conversion.
I couldn't tell you, but it's still weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, for $13, I'd say go for it.
I
once
guess
again,
with the
it's
asterisk of its suggestive themes are not an issue for you.
Right. If scantily clad women who have their tits and ass emphasized, gives you the religious convulsions, look elsewhere. Like, that being said, like I said, it's a surprisingly good game. It's not, it's not as polished or as professional as some of the other games of this type we've covered here. Like I said, as I mentioned a few times here, I would not choose this over Twilight Monk in terms of this kind of game that I have reviewed in this month. I know that was incredibly specific, but and mind you, when I say a month, I'm talking about like the span of time. I know it's a new month and all that.
The past 30 days.
Yes. Just to get in front of the pen dance there. Anyway, point is, it's actually, it's punching above its weight class, but, don't, like, I would still recommend Twilight Monk than Scarlet City of Devils. So, anything else you two want to bring up in regards to this game?
If you're like me who plays this on ultra wide, wait until if the devs do something to fix some of the weirdness with this. Because like I can literally see what they're using for the background texture. It's just a 3D cloth. And that's just because I'm playing a 21:9 aspect ratio. If this was cut down to 16:9, I probably wouldn't see this.
You and your CinemaScope.
But going forward, it is something that does need to think about that being a thing.
Right.
Because, like 30 years ago, if somebody told you they had 21:9 aspect rate monitor, you would have looked at them like they grew a third head. But yeah, it's some small fit and finish stuff that can easily be sorted out. Generally, like with I'm guessing this is probably a Unity game.
I think so.
Judging by how they're handling the background texture, I don't know for sure. I didn't look too deep into it. It's just my guess.
It could be Godot.
Possibly.
Like,
but or, there are ways that they can have it deal with the aspect ratio stuff for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at worst, I think a lot of them are just an add-on you can put in there. It's not a hard fix. It's just a fix that needs to be looked at, you know?
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, other than that, than some fit and finish issues, it's not bad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that's all for me.
Galix, any final words?
I don't think so.
All right. So yeah, I think I'll about do it for not just this review, but review session. So coming up on the week ahead, right? So on Wednesday, if I can get to the right date here, on Wednesday, May 7th, we did have a guest lined up, but let us say they dropped out due to
let's just call it a new one.
Kind of like not so much a new one. It's usually when they get huffy at our reviews, we've already interviewed them,
or they just leave you on red and don't.
I'm just not sure if this is huffy or like literally just like depressed.
It's kind of hard to tell via just words when you can't intone inflections like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was displeased with the review. I got that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, he said he went in a good headspace, and okay, fine. Like, it's like he doesn't think he'll be a good guest.
We sold your fourth.
Yeah. You take care of your mental health. Point is, we will be doing a reacts video. We'll be heading back to the world of the Computer Chronicles.
Oh man.
And this time it'll be something specifically tailored towards this program, as we take a look at video game consoles in the year of 1990. So that means we're going to be looking at the TurboGrafx 16.
Right before the SNES?
Yes. The TG16 and the Sega Genesis will be showing up, literally. Like,
this was before I was born.
Well, a lot of these shows are before you were born.
But...
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know if they ever looked at video game consoles again. I know they looked at computer games a lot.
Oh yeah,
but consoles, this might be the one.
They may have did something for the SNES only because of Silicon Graphics.
That would have been the N64.
Or N64, yes, rather. They might have did something for that because the Silicon Graphics thing was a very big deal.
Right, but anyway, we will see. We will see the latest and greatest that 1990 had to offer us on Wednesday. We do have a new MSP episode planned, and we may have to do a reaction video there because the guest is a bit dodgy because he's on fucking vacation.
Wonderful.
I'm thinking for MSP, I'm pulling out an episode of 321 Contact. So with that in mind, no Friday show this week. So until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.